In the spirit of making fun of oneself, I offer you this story. First of all, as you can possibly tell, I am in a Super 8 motel. Um, I say you can tell because if you're paying attention, the Sholo Super 8 motel has a similar picture above the bed, but not Las Vegas. It's Sholo, it's Cowboys. Well, I guess that's Sholo. I don't know. So I used Hotels.com to reserve a place to stay in Las Vegas from the 1st through the 8th. So I had that booked. I was a little confused about it because the picture on the site was a house, which is okay. But in the listing, they made several references to the lobby, as well as free parking and some other things that seemed like hotel terminology. So I wasn't sure what I was walking into. So I get to, it's a house in North Las Vegas, and they don't have a lobby, they have a living room. The woman asks me for my ID and my credit card, which you book and you pay through the site, and so I didn't know why she'd need them, especially since it wasn't actually a hotel. So she tells me it's because there's a $70 cleaning deposit and a $200 security deposit on the room, which is refundable. Pretty standard procedure for a hotel, but a little unusual given that it's a house and those charges were not listed on the listing on the site. So I was a little puzzled. And then she tells me, then she goes over her contract, and I write that the deposit will be over objection because it wasn't on the listing before signing it. Then she tells me that her Square is not functioning, and therefore I will need to offer those deposits in cash. And I went, yeah, that's not going to happen. And she tells me, well, I'll take a check. And I said, no, that's not going to happen either. I have credit cards, and if you don't have the method of taking the payment that was used through the site, that's not my problem. So I'm pretty nervous at this point because the whole thing feels wrong. And the thing that keeps coming back to me and back to me and back to me on this entire trip, which is now 2.5, almost 3 weeks old, is follow my gut. Follow those instincts. When they speak to you, do it. And so I suggest to her that we're both a little uncomfortable with the arrangement, and therefore we might need to just cancel the arrangement and move on. So I look up the cancellation policy on the site, and it says if I cancel, none of the fees I've paid will be refunded. So this is like $340, and so I can't eat that. So it's looking like I'm going to have to stay in this place where I am uncomfortable, where a woman's trying to get me to give her cash for a security deposit. So with mounting concern, she shows me the room. With my mounting concern, she shows me the room, and the room is dominated with several large pieces of exercise equipment. There's at least 2, might even have been 3, and if you want to mess with the blinds in the room, you have to forge your way past the exercise equipment. It's over half the room. That wasn't in any of the pictures either. So then she says, well, let me show you the bathroom, your bathroom. And we go back out in the hall. She's got several rooms off of this upstairs landing, and she shows me into a bathroom that's off of the upstairs landing. It looks like it serves all of the rooms up there. And so I'm going, yeah, that's okay. It's not what was in the listing, but all right. And then I ask her if there's a key to the lock on the bedroom door, and she goes, yeah, let me get that for you. And she disappears. There's no word for like 5 minutes. I'm standing upstairs waiting for her to come back, and there's nothing. So I go downstairs. And I see her walk from the kitchen out of sight. And now I'm just going, there's something seriously wrong here. So I go outside and I call Hotels.com, and I explain to them that this is a house that uses the word lobby. When they don't have a lobby, it's a living room, dining room, kitchen, whichever room they're calling the lobby, I don't know. That there isn't a private bathroom off the room. That I explain everything I just explained. Plus the fact that it's not free parking, it's street parking, which I suppose is technically free, but that's not really what I think of when the listing says we have parking. And so the customer service rep for Hotels.com puts me on hold while she calls, her name is Catherine, to talk to her about the situation. Well, she comes back on and she says the property owner is not willing to refund the money. And I go, wait a minute. So here's a detail that I left out. She had told me that she's not capable of refunding the money because she doesn't have it. That Hotels.com has the money. And so the CSR for Hotels.com tells me she's unwilling to refund the money, at which point I go, wait a second. Does she have the money or do you have the money? And the woman goes, she has the money. And I go, okay, now we have a bigger problem because she told me that you have the money and she can't refund it. And you're telling me she has the money and won't refund it. So now she's lied. And there's no way I'm staying in that room because I'm traveling with a lot of physical assets. I have my PlayStation 4 with me, and I can't leave it in the room now because I'd be concerned that she'd go into... I don't know that I'd have the only key. I'd be concerned that she'd go into the room and take the PS4 as security against that deposit. And so I'm not staying there. No way, no shape, no form. And so she puts me on hold again, comes back and says, okay, can't get her to refund the money, but we'll give you $175 in credit on your account. And I went, okay, so that means I'm going to eat $160. So each night is still going to cost me $20 when I still have to find a place to stay. And I ask if there's an option. Well, if you can credit me $175, can you credit me $338? And then we can call it square and I can leave this place behind. She says, I can't do that. So I asked to talk to her supervisor. I go through the entire thing with the supervisor again, and I explain to him the trip that I'm on and that I use several different sources to book rooms, Hotels.com, Hotel Tonight, Airbnb, and Wyndham. And at this point, Hotels.com is still in the pole position for which way I like to book. I like to book rooms because when I didn't do the Jerome thing last night, I used Hotels.com to book a room that was close, even though I probably could have just driven and found something that was locally owned and operated, and I probably should have. I got to figure that out at some point, just how to do that, which is really the gut. And so I explained to him, look, I've got three options. Number one, we can refund the money. We can find a way to give me back the money, and Hotels.com keeps the pole position slot. No harm, no foul. I have confidence in what you're doing. Number two, you can issue me a credit equal to what I spent, at which point Hotels.com retains the pole position, but I'm a little trepidatious about the whole thing. Or number three, we can stick with the offer you've given me. She keeps the $338. I get $175 in credit. I have to eat the $160, in which case Hotels.com drops below Wyndham and Airbnb and maybe even Hotels Tonight, which hasn't seemed to be all that cheap for me. So he goes to talk to her, and I'm on hold again. He comes back and says, yeah, she's not going to refund the money, but I'm going to take care of it on our end. And he works through a refund from Hotels.com. So I guess she gets to keep the money and Hotels.com is going to eat the charge. So I was happy about that. I was on my way to a Wyndham property already, because I didn't know how I was going to come out, and I wanted to figure out where I was going to stay tonight, and I don't want to do Hotels.com while I'm in Vegas. And so, he tells me he's going to refund the whole thing. and he's going to escalate the situation up to the next step because the bathroom situation is not what's on the listing. And I reminded him about the lobby and the parking. But he said, yeah, if there's no bathroom connected to the room, then that's not what's on the listing. And I went, oh, she wasn't real nice to you either, was she? And he went, no, she wasn't. So I went to a Wyndham. I went to a second Wyndham. I went to a Super 8 that was off the strip. I followed my gut. I didn't like the way it felt. And so I came to a different Super 8, which is slightly northern part of town. Not the greatest area of town. I'm somewhere between the strip and Fremont Street in North Vegas. But it's cool. I'll be all right. I'll be here for 4 days, and then I'm going to switch to an Airbnb for the weekend. So yeah, that was my adventure this evening in figuring out how to secure lodgings for the next several days. So I'm in Vegas for the next week. Welcome to Las Vegas. Super 8.